right, friends, let's get started. So, when something is whole, we don't separate it, right? We leave it full the way it is. And when something is half, Jaden mentioned earlier, we put it into two different pieces, right? So we could split it here, or we could split it here, so long as there's two pieces and they're the same size, okay? And then we get into quarters. Does anyone know anything about quarters? How many pieces there are in quarters, JoJo?
4 or 5.
There's 4, yes. So you can take a shape and put it into quarters. Do you see that? How they're all same size? My at-home learners, do we see that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I don't have an eraser, so I'll just set that over here.
There should be one right in that popcorn bin.
Right there.
Okay. Oh, yes. Thank you. All right. So now we are going to look at this worksheet, or our at-home learners, we're going to look at the shapes we drew. So we are going to label right here. Do you guys see where I'm pointing on the screen? Right here. We're going to label this first one. We're going to say whole. So go ahead and take your pencil and write the word whole above the first row. Okay? You can't see it? I'll use a pen.
You could always zoom in on the iPad as well.
Oh, could I?
And then you'll just have to adjust.
There we go. Does that, can you see it better?
And then you'll have to sometimes. There.
All right, so we have whole. W-H-O-L-E. Whole. Then in the middle, we're going to write half.
What's up, JoJo?
I can't see the word.
Okay, I'll write it on the board too, okay?
You see that? We have whole on the first one, half in the middle, H-A-L-F, and on this side we're going to write quarter.
Put it above it, JoJo.
Q-U-A-R-T-E-R. All right. So all of our papers should look like this, with whole, half, and quarter. So we're going to do the circles together, okay? So we're going to divide these circles into this amount of parts. So are we going to draw any lines for whole? Right, because we just want to leave it like it is. What about half? How many lines should we draw in this circle for half? 1, correct. And we want to make sure that they're just about the same size, okay? Our two different sides, we want to make sure that they're just about the same size.
I'm also writing it here on the board if you cannot see.
Now what about this quarter? How many lines are we going to need to cut it into quarters? Timothy?
4.
4 lines to cut it into quarters? Well, let's take a look. We got 1 line, and that puts it in half, right? So how many more lines do we need to make quarters? Remember how I did this one earlier?
1 more.
1 more, good job. Across the middle. And now we have it in equal, 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts.
It's also on the board.
All right. Now let's take a look at these squares. This one is whole. So I am going to have you guys do the squares on your own, okay? In whole and half and in quarters. Just like we did with the circles, how we split it up into whole and half and quarters, we're going to split up our squares. Okay? Now I am going to check in with each and every one of you individually while you finish your squares. And if you finish your squares, go ahead and move on to your rectangles, okay? And split those up too. Great job. All right. So I'm gonna first go around and check in with my in-person students, and then if any of my online students have any questions, I will be happy to help you out, okay? You can if you want, but you don't have to. So which one do you have in half and whole? So let's look at which way. This is half? This is whole. So that's a quarter. What about this one? Awesome job. You get those rectangles done? Oh, that is awesome.
Good job.
Let's see some rectangles.
Good job. Get the rectangles done.
Okay. Great work. What's up, my friend? So now, I want you to do what you did here. So now you made it into half and into quarters. I want you to make these ones. I want you to split these ones up too, okay? And one of them is full. Split one of them in half. And split one of them in quarters.
Turn around, Jaden. I don't know why you're facing that way, honey.
Nice work. Alright, great
Turn around.
work. Great work. You guys are doing so awesome. Alright, I'm gonna check in with my online learners.
So,
Alright, looks like we've got a question. How can I help you, Mitchell?
you gotta go all the way across. You gotta go all the way across.
Huh?
I'm supposed to do the same things that we did to the circle.
Yes, so I want you to take your 3 squares and split them up like you split your 3 circles. And then under your squares, you should have 3 rectangles. And I want you to split those ones up as well. All right? And in case you need any help with spelling whole, half, or quarter, those words are spelled out for you right here. All right, online learners, do we have any more questions? Okay, I'm gonna go around the in-person classroom one more time and come back to the online learners one more time with their questions, okay? All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh, you guys are doing great. Great work. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and collect these now. You guys did awesome. Great work. Monica? Esme did great. Esme already finished.
Turn around, Jaden.
All right, guys. Well, that is all I have for you today. So it was quick. You guys were very good with following directions.